So the GOP is in full panic mode after Mamdani wins the New York Democratic primary election. And now there's a lot of prominent conservatives who are floating ways to disqualify him altogether, which sounds a lot like the tactics that Democrats used in order to try to disqualify conservatives. I want to show you this message here. This is from Nick Sauder. He says, President Trump should invoke the Communist Control Act to block Zoran Mamdani from becoming mayor of New York. We have to play hardball. DOJ can easily establish communist ties, given Mamdani's has openly boasted a communist group, called for a communist mayor. He should also lose his status as a naturalized citizen, given he began associating with communists within 5 years of becoming a U.S. citizen. So they're even wanting to strip him of citizenship. And it's not just Nick that has said this. I am seeing a flood. I mean, there's also, Bill Ackman going out there saying we're looking at legal ways to essentially thwart this election. Have they lost their mind? This is the type of stuff that we railed against Democrats for doing against people, against Republicans, trying to get them off the ballot. They did this to Trump the whole time. And yet here they are saying the same things about this guy. I mean, what do you think of I don't have to. You don't have to agree with Mamdani, right, and his policies. But I mean, doesn't this seem a bit anti-democratic to you?
No, they sound like communists themselves. It has to be party approved. You can vote, but within it's actually, I think that's what the Iranians do too. There's a litmus test for candidates. You do have an open vote, but they have to be approved. The thing is, I saw a video the other. To be honest, I don't care about New York. I wish it would secede. I wish we would get rid of New York and California and all these places. Nevertheless, I saw I just found out about this guy, and it was fascinating because what he did after Trump was elected, he went to parts of New York City with a microphone, and he was talking to voters of color, minorities, immigrants, and he was asking them, who did you vote for? And a lot of them voted for Trump. It was interesting. But those that did vote for Trump, he asked them, well, why did you? What about Trump interested you? And it was basically, he listened to the Vox Populi and he crafted his campaign around it, which is what you're supposed to do. It was really amazing to see what he did. He's probably a bad guy. Most politicians are. You're right. This use of authoritarianism to disqualify someone, a lot of these blue states and blue cities, let them elect the stupidest socialist possible. They'll finally learn their lesson and they'll want to know what's wrong, and maybe they'll come over to our side and have some freedom. But yeah, it's disheartening to hear that kind of talk.
Yeah. They've just really lost their minds. And I think what they're not realizing is what people voted for with Mamdani is an America first or a New York first agenda. He basically ran on the same things that Bernie Sanders ran on and that Trump ran on, which is a winning platform, which is America first. You had all of these other politicians going up there saying, Israel, 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 where would you visit? Oh, I'd visit Israel. I'd visit the Holy Land. I'd visit Israel, Israel, Israel. And every time they would question Mamdani, it was always, why don't you believe Israel should be a Jewish state? Like, what's wrong with you? That was the questioning, and that was the type of smear campaign against them. It has nothing to do with New Yorkers, yet they made it completely about Israel. And the voters, I think, handed a referendum on that, saying we do not want to support Israel. We want to support New York. We want to be here for New Yorkers. And we'll take the commie socialist over the guy who's completely sold out to a foreign nation. I don't understand how these politicians don't understand that we did not vote for Israel first, but that's what we seem to be getting over and over again.
Yeah. Cuomo certainly had a tin ear, because you're right. That's what he was saying every other step of the way. But it also reflects the power of the donor class. These are the people who buy and sell our politicians. These are the Jewish billionaires who finance presidential elections. They certainly are going to finance New York City mayoral elections. They're going to finance all of our House of Representatives elections. And it's a real problem because we have a bought and paid for government. But thankfully, we still have the vote within reason if people like Nick Sauder don't win. And people can vote and really something radical like this will happen. They're tired of it. America's tired of it. And you're right. It's a positive result.
I hope it's a lesson. And I'm worried. I think the Republican Party, I think that the Republican Party, as we've seen, there's been a split within the Republicans of the Israel first, the ones that really want to support Israel and those that don't. So you've got, and I'm sure you've been seeing this divide, how this has played out in the Republican Party, very vocally, between very prominent voices. And but I think with Democrats, the voting population in the Democratic Party has clearly been against Israel's genocide in Gaza, very clearly been against that. But the politicians have not been clearly against that. And this was, I think, an absolute referendum to the Democratic Party. Get in line with the people, or we will find new people to replace you with. And that's what they've done with Cuomo and Mamdani. But the Republicans, what's interesting about this is now I'm seeing a lot of Jewish New Yorkers who are Zionist Jewish New Yorkers who definitely have an affinity to Israel. And they're now saying, I feel politically homeless. I think the Republican Party is more appealing to me now. I want to start looking in that direction. And so I think we're going to see a flood of otherwise, the Jewish population, I think, has historically voted majority Democrat over the years. But I think we're going to see a big shift in that. And I think many of them are actually going to vote for the Republicans now. But I think the big question would be for Republicans, what will that do to the MAGA philosophy inside the Republican Party? Or will it be more MAGA, if you know what I mean? I mean, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen there?
That's a good point, and I think it is. I do think it's generational, though. You've got the old boomer class watching Fox News day and night, and even the older class of the Christian Zionists in the Republican Party are still very strong. But the young generation is not seeing things this way at all, and I think we can take a lot of encouragement. They may go over there, but the problem is that Israel's its own worst PR representative. The stuff that they do, people are waking up. Conservatives are waking up that I'd never thought I would heard. But this is a televised genocide in Gaza, and especially I have kids. I know that I believe you have children. When you look at babies having their arms blown off, and they're not fighting anyone, they're not Hamas, they're just kids. It radicalizes people, and this is a televised genocide. For anyone who wants to see it, you can see what's happening. They're destroying themselves. They need to have a national electroshock treatment or something to snap them out of this kind of crazy frenzy they're in. And all polling in Israel shows that the vast majority are in favor of just getting rid of this whole group of people.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No, it's very radicalized, extremely radicalized. Hey guys, thank you for watching this clip from the full Kim Iversen Show, which you could check out Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. See you there.